All right, retreating to the home base, away from home base. Harbor City. Nollie double and Guardos?
Dropping in. Hey.
So I think there's some tricks that are just really rad. They're so simple and it's so easy to play with. And I think a lot of times that makes it the trick kind of go like unexplored. My friend Joey like really put this trick in the grave like 2005 or something like that. But regardless, I've seen newer variations and all sorts of cool things you can do with this trick to get into other tricks or to get from other tricks into this tricks that, I don't know, I think are kind of neat. And that's like rock and roll, rock fakie, and front rock variations, just all the rocks. Once you're in this position, there's so many different directions to go, and there's also like ones I never thought were possible that I like recently learned about. I actually like went on a binge last night trying to find this clip of someone doing rock to back disaster on a vert ramp, and I'm pretty sure he slid it, which seems like it shouldn't make any sense at all. But watching like Chris Haslam do it in person and have him explain it to me made more sense. And then the way Haley does it, which she'll hit it on the way up and then scoop into a back disaster, which is now the way that I can do it. It's gonna show you a bunch of like random rock variations that you could probably already do that are super easy and kind of satisfying. Start off with like rock combos, which is like, even if you don't have deck rails, if you have deck rails, I'd say it's a little easier, but you can like get into a rock and just kind of get to this position, like really easy. If you don't have deck rails,
Workbench.
you use the concave of your board and do the same thing. As you can see, it doesn't lift up quite as far, but he lifts up enough to shuffle into whatever. Actually, I'm gonna do it on your board because I don't think I've ever done any of these on a board without deck rails. Yeah, so it's just like you get in, momentum over here, and this right here, like, I'll kind of throw this shoulder that way, and then just dig my heel in. And once you're like this and you just make your body do that, it automatically starts to want to go that way. And all that's really left is just bring that foot up. You can kind of scrape your wheel up it too. Like, sometimes I think like, if it's too mellow and I can't use this like not touching anything teeter to get into it, I'll actually like drag my wheel up, and it works just as good as long as you're aggressive. As you can see, I don't really like stall it long and then go into it. One, because it doesn't look as good, and two, because it's actually easier to do it quicker. I'll do it with deck rails now. This one too. I don't think I've ever done that one actually.
And you never will.
That's an old man trick. You just get in, same thing, let it teeter to this. You can seriously like find any quarter pipe, as long as it's like small enough to like feel safe with, and just like do all these goofy variations. Another one that I particularly really like, you might not think it's that cool, it's my favorite rock trick, is the hang up to fakie, where you'll let it go up, and on the way back in, you just sort of like lightly let it hang up. But since you have no weight on your front foot, it just bounces off like that. So if your foot's kind of floating, sometimes I'll even feel my foot completely come off. It's just like one of those tricks that kind of makes people be like, oh, Like it looks like an accident, but you're doing it on purpose. You know what? I've never done it on the deep end in here. I'll try it on the deep end. Ooh, that's kind of scary. So that's one of those tricks. You just stay super light-footed when your front foot and your back foot stays slightly aggressive. It's good to learn how to do like the fake rock fakies where you just let your trucks go above the coping. I'll do that real quick. It's just that, and then you just let it hit on the way back. You can double rock it. That trick feels great.
Looks kind of cool.
I also think having like an understanding of like the different places you can lock rocks, like decked out versus like shallow, you can kind of like just play with those variations and see where different leverage points are and get into some funky stuff. Another variation that you don't see too many people play with, but it's actually kind of easy as long as you keep your momentum going forward, is doing like no stall to rocks and tail stall to fakie rocks. So I will try to relearn those now. Another fun goofy thing that you can do is like rock variations where you kind of end up playing with the deck a little bit, like rocks, and then just kind of transferring on and just doing silly stuff. So I tried to do a little tutorial on how to like rock on the exit out, like you roll up and you rock and then you just air out of it, to learn how to do like rock combo grinds. But I couldn't even do the rollout, but I can still do the combo grind. So you don't need to be able to do that to do the combo grind. So basically, the way I think about it is I'll roll up to the coping and I'll think, try to hit the coping with my wheels, but go a second too late, but keep your momentum going forward. Like don't think rock at all. Just think like when you roll off the edge of a ledge and you deck check it, like when you do this trick, this one right here, essentially that. Oh, you like nollie it. So that's another way that you can do it. You can kind of like shuffle into it. I was thinking like a quick hit on the way up. So I mean, there's obviously multiple ways to do multiple tricks, but that one actually looked kind of cool. Kelly's also particularly good at like tricks out of rocks, like kick flips and 360 flips. I probably won't be able to talk her into doing any of those today.
What the heck is that?
I don't know. I think want rock fakie is a pretty common beginner quarter pipe trick, but it's actually pretty easy to go back to blunt. Give it like a little nose main on nollie, pop up, and just keep your body weight in the ramp, and it just sort of sticks you there.
Didn't even get in the sponge.
I still liked it. All right, here's a new one that I think I just figured out. It was inspired by a trick that I saw on, what's that Instagram account called?
Jeff Grosso's Alien Tattoo.
Jeff Grosso's Alien Tattoo. So someone rolled up a quarter pipe.
Gross.
Actually, they did it on a vert ramp, and they like kicked their back foot off, and then went to rock and roll. Actually, let me learn that real quick.
Oh.
I want something to eat.
Oh, me too. I can't. I don't know, man.
You did it way cooler. I'll play the clip. I'm doing it really lame. But anyways, inspired off of that, and talking about teeter points earlier, I learned that if I'm in like rock with one foot, I can still go like this. So I'm gonna try to go, and then go back in.
You're so strong.
Oh, way too far.
Yeah, that was it. That's kind of it. Oh my god. That's the fan favorite, I think. Hell yeah.
Wasn't that it? Upon review, maybe the worst trick I've ever come up with, but
No.
it wasn't.
No.
It's not even, is it a contender for top 10?
I don't know, maybe, but a lot of your tricks like that do get done on the sporter bike.
So if you want to play with all these rocks and stuff like that, I think it's pretty important to have all of the reverts out, kind of down, so regular and switch, front side and back side. So I'll do those real quick. Oh, here's another fun one. So the rocks, my friend did this in New York City, the Takey Pop rocks, and on the way out he did a little nollie and smacked his tail on the coping. It's probably my favorite trick I've seen done in the last like 3 years. I stole it in broad daylight. I'm pretty stoked on it. All right, it's starting to rain, so it's getting a little slippery, so maybe that'll let me do like rock shuffle variations. I don't think I've ever done the frontside rock shuffle before. The slipperiness definitely helps.
No way. Yep.
Possible.
I think you're overthinking it.
You know, this isn't a play with disasters video, but like doing the straight ollie into disaster type tricks, even though it's kind of a rock since you're not 180ing or fun to play with. I always do the bomb drop one with like this one.
Okay. Don't look at me. Oh yeah.
And to end the video, here's a bunch of clips of my friend Joe Fitzpatrick doing ridiculous rock tricks in like 2000 something, early 2000s. Really ridiculous stuff, but it has copyrighted music over it. So instead of, yeah, I'm just going to talk over it because they can't have any volume in it. So that's how you properly ollie out of a rock. That was a little stinky, but it was definitely above coping. That's my favorite because I would call it a rockfish. Yeah, he just had so much control of like the getting into the rock, and there was no like doubt that he was actually tapping rock. I mean, if the volume was playing on these clips, you would hear like a loud smack every single time. And some of them aren't even that shallow of rocks. Like some of them get like pretty up there. Rock backside flip. Some of these flip trick out variations I've seen, but not the control that he has. Like that, like rock to board side. That's insane. I actually do that one sometimes. Rock double flip. That just seems like it would take a lot of effort to get a good flick. Rock big flip. I think Haley's done that one. I think he's the only one to ever do rock Benihana. Pretty sure he has owned himself. And look at this one. Rock kick flip bendy. That was just ridiculous.